guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today I'm going to be sharing a giant mermaid themed book haul. I'm sorry this video is coming out later than I anticipated. I was waiting for a couple more books to come in the mail and I just got them today. So we're gonna squeeze this in just a few days before the readathon starts. So just in case you missed it, I'm hosting a mermaid, pirate, ocean themed readathon June 26th through July 9th. I will link the announcement video and all the information down below in the description as well as up in the cards in case you want to join in. Hopefully this giant stack will give you some last minute TBR ideas, some inspiration in case you need to mix things up a little bit. I have so many books to share with you guys. I've been slowly collecting and saving the books that I've gotten from last June until now. So we have a year's worth of mermaid finds. I got a couple online. Most of them I found out and about at used bookstores, thrift stores, and things like that. I found a lot more than I was expecting because I have a ton of mermaid books already and I feel like I'm kind of catching up with the genre, but I'm excited to share all of these with you guys. So we're just gonna dive right in. So I got a couple of indie books this year. I really love finding indie books that I love and enjoy. Because the genre is so wide and just not as filtered as traditionally published books, I'm always a little bit leery going into an indie book because I really want to love them, but a lot of times I don't. So I always try a couple, especially when they're themed for readathons every year, especially for Mermaid Marathon, because I'm catching up on a lot of the traditionally published mermaid books. So we're dipping our toes into finding some more unique ones. So I ordered a couple and I hope to get to at least one or two during the readathon and then one or two after the readathon. So I will let you guys know what I think. I stopped accepting ARCs from indie authors. I got a couple sent to me because I was excited just to have people want to send me their book, and I didn't enjoy them and I felt terrible reviewing them when they sent me their book for free. So now I just kind of pick them up and find them on my own unless it's like a trusted author or has been highly recommended by a friend or something. So I got A Mermaid in Middle Grade by A.M. Lizader. Now I found this one because I could actually find the audio for this on Hoopla and it's a full trilogy and all I know is that it's about a middle grade mermaid. So I grabbed this recently because it looks super cute and I'm always game for some more middle grade mermaid books. Then I got Shearwater by D.S. Murphy. Now this has a couple different covers, so if you find one with the same author with a different cover, I think it's still the same first book. I honestly don't know anything about this except for the cover is beautiful. It's an indie book. I know my friend Marie said she read the first chapter and loved it. I'm hoping that it's not too spicy. Sometimes these mermaid indie books just come at you strong with the spice and I'm just really not looking for that, and sometimes they get real wild and weird. So hopefully I enjoy this one. It says, hike the rugged Ireland coast, explore castle ruins and dark family secrets as Claire discovers who she really is and who wants to kill her because of it. Sounds awesome. Another indie book that I actually won in a giveaway last year after the readathon had started, so I didn't get to share it, is The Willows Weep by Alana Williams. I'm going to read The Siren's Call probably after Mermaid Marathon. This series starts out, I think, towards the younger side of YA, but this is the second book. I won it in a giveaway. I'm very excited to get to it. I think she's got 3 or 4 books out now, and I've heard decent things about this series. I got The Surface Breaks by Louisa O'Neill. I read this one last year for Mermaid Marathon. I really want the other edition. That's this beautiful hardback with a beautiful naked book, but I could not find like a decent copy. So I got this one for now, which is also really beautiful. This is a more feminist Little Mermaid retelling that I really enjoyed. It kind of took me by surprise. It's darker, it has some intense aspects in here. It's less about the love story and more about our main character like finding herself, becoming human. It's gritty, it's dark, it's YA, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm glad I have a copy now. I got Bay of Sighs by Nora Roberts. So this is actually book 2 in a series. I just finished book 1, which is Stars of Fortune, to prepare for this book because I wanted to read this for Mermaid Marathon, and they do connect together. The first book has a tiny bit of like mermaids mentioned and talked about in there, and I think this one is more heavy on it, but it's about like a group of people that come together and they're trying to find these stars which are part of like an ancient magic to like help save the world. It's a whole thing. It's got kind of like a Marvel vibe. I'm going to be talking more about it in my June reading wrap up. It was probably about like a 3-star for me. It was my first Nora Roberts. Hopefully I enjoy this one even more. We have Once Upon a Tide, A Mermaid's Tale by Stephanie Kate Strom. Now this one is newer. I think it came out last year or the year before. It's middle grade. I don't know much about it besides that it's adorable, super fun adventure adventure. We've got like a little castle in the background, and I will definitely be getting to this one for Mermaid Marathon. All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slatter. I meant to get to this one last year and I didn't. So in this one, long ago, Mir and O'Malley's family prospered due to the deal stuck with Mur. Safety for their ships to return for a child of each generation. But for many years, the families have been unable to keep their side of the bargain and have fallen into decline. Mirren's grandmother is determined to restore their glory even at the price of Marin's freedom. So we're like selling kids to the Mur. I think this is adult. I've heard really good things and I can't wait to get to it for the readathon. Okay, you guys, so I got these beautiful Spanish editions of the Water Song Quartet from Amanda Hocking. Now I only have 2, 3, and 4, but I can't really read them anyway because they're Spanish. But look at these covers. They're so pretty, and because I love mermaids so much, I like absolutely had to have them. This series is like a 3.5 star for me. I really enjoyed the first 2 books, and I didn't love the last 2, but it's still one I recommend if you just really, really love mermaids and sirens. It has some Greek mythology and stuff as well, but these covers are so stunning. And I found them for $1, so I was really excited. I am rehauling Lies Beneath by Anne Greenwood Brown. So I read this a few years ago, and I enjoyed it. And then I reread it via audio so I could read the next book, and I really enjoyed it on audio. So in this one, we're following a merman and his 2 sisters, and they actually live in Lake Superior. And they are on a mission to kill John Hancock, who they believed murdered their mother. And so our main character, Calder, is basically sent to seduce John's daughter on land so that he can get close to the family and accomplish their task. And of course, he winds up falling for the daughter. So I really liked this one. I liked the ending. It was like almost a 4 star. The second one I didn't love. I found it was like a little bit boring and all over the place. And then I never read the third one, and I just decided to unhaul them, but I kind of want to read it again. I do this with mermaid books. Sometimes I need to read them more than once to decide how I feel, and I just love the mermaid vibes so much. So rehauling this first book, and I'll have to see if I can find the rest. Then I found this book and I was so excited because this is one of my favorite mermaid books that I don't own, and it is The Mermaid's Daughter by Anne Claycomb. I love this one so much. I found it and I put it in my pile because I have different piles all over for different hauls. And one day I was with Jeff and he took me to the bookstore like a few months later, and I came back in the car and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I found The Mermaid's Daughter and I've been looking for it everywhere. And he was like, you already have that book. And I was like, no, I don't. Okay, I've been wanting this for forever. It's one of my favorite books. I was like, I have a ton of books with girls underwater on the covers. That's probably what you're thinking. So I came home and I was like going through my mermaid haul stack, and I definitely already had it. And I was like, how did he remember that? I'm literally hauling so many books up in here. I was very impressed that he remembered that I had it and that I loved it. So the extra copy is going in the giveaway, which is on Instagram. So be sure you're following on there because it's gonna be really fun. This one is so good. This is an adult mermaid book, one of the only that I've read and loved. Our main character is an opera singer. She has some kind of like disease or illness that the doctors can't figure out, where her tongue will like hurt, her voice will hurt randomly, and then she has like pains in her feet. And her girlfriend, who is also I think at the same musical school, decides to tell her to go to Ireland to like get back to her roots and her family and be with her dad and kind of uncover some mysteries of her past. And things kind of evolve from there. This is so good. It's so beautiful. It's so unique. I loved the parts with the opera, which there was a lot about that, which I really enjoyed. I loved the Ireland setting for like the later half of the book, and the ending was just excellent. So this is one I always recommend. And then I just got my copy of The Vast and Brutal Sea in from Zoraida Cordova. This is the final book in her Mermaid Merman trilogy, which I am getting ready to start this one today actually because I just finished the second one. This trilogy is absolutely wild and so fun. Definitely on the like younger side of YA, where it's just like really outrageous. Like we have vampires in here, there's different kinds of sea creatures, there's marrows, there's mermaids, there's sirens, there's a whole underwater system. Our main character is a lifeguard, and one day this big wave comes in and like takes some people out, and he goes in to save them, and he gets attacked by this silver looking mermaid, and then he has to unravel some things about his history and his life. But if you're looking for one that has like a whole system, culture, kingdom around mermaids, this trilogy is so good. But it's very like wild and fun and sometimes silly. It's got every creature you can think of. I really like the ragtag team of characters. I would relate this a little bit to the Undertow trilogy, which I also really love. So I'm really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to dive into this next one now that I have it. We have The Mermaid's Cookbook. I actually have another one I'll show you in a second. So I actually found this at the Goodwill recently. I've been eyeing it online. So it's very small. It's like a no notebooky spiral bound one. I may add this to the giveaway depending on how I feel about the recipes, but it looks really cute and fun. This one looks more like it's geared towards like little kids, but just a cute little find at the Goodwill. And then I ordered the Mermaid's Cookbook from Kayla Gallagher because I got this from the library last year, and this is the one that I used to make that fabulous mermaid cheesecake for a Mermaid Marathon last year, or it's a shark pool cheesecake. And I'll put my picture right here because I was really proud that it looked exactly like it. And I loved this recipe because it was actually delicious. I mostly follow recipes from like Pinterest, and I'm finding that sometimes they're hit or miss, and I thought it was just like me or my taste, but I found like recently when I started using some of the recipes from these types of actual cookbooks, I have like a Halloween one as well, they were like so good and tasty, and I think it's because they're more accurate. Sometimes the Pinterest ones are not edited properly because they're just like random bloggers. I definitely want to try one or two more of these for the readathon because I enjoyed that first one so much. And we have Serena by Donna Jo Napoli. I've been wanting to read this for so long. I absolutely love Donna Jo's Dark Shimmer, which is a Snow White retelling that I'll be talking a lot more about for the next readathon. And I really hated her Beauty and the Beast retelling, which was called Beast. So I am hoping I love this one. She's kind of a strange writer, very like whimsical, fantastical in her writing style, which could be fantastic. This is just like a short little novella, so I hope I can get to this for the readathon because I've been wanting to for so long. Then I found The Shape of Water by Danielle Kraus. Guillermo del Toro, I know I'm saying that wrong, also wrote this book and did the movie, which I read his book Pan's Labyrinth last year, and I really did not like it. It was a mix with Cornelia Funk, who I really love, and it was just so incredibly dark and not as like magical as I was expecting, but I've heard really good things about this one. So I think we have like a mute main character who works at a aquarium, and then they find like a creature and she has to like work with the creature or something. I don't know, she's like a janitor. I don't know much about it. Kind of want to go in blind. I kind of want to watch the movie afterwards, so hopefully I really like this one. I've heard mostly good things from people. I don't know if he's technically like a merman or a water creature or what, but we're gonna check it out. And this is also an adult mermaid ocean creature book, which I haven't read a ton of, so I like to have more on my list. Then we have A Blue So Dark by Holly Schindler. I'm not entirely sure if this one actually has mermaids in it, but the description said, "Mom knew that the mermaids hand carved from driftwood by the owner of her souvenir shop were all I wanted to take home to Florida. As she bought them, she looked down at me, her eyes not just glittering, but snapping with fire like two 4th of July sparklers. She ran her fingers down the length of my nose, almost like you'd stroke a favorite pet, and said, 'We're just alike, me and Aura.' And you know, back then the idea of that didn't scare the absolute hell out of me." So I'm assuming there's like alluding to mermaids. I don't know. We'll have to see. Sometimes they're very mysterious. We have Atlantis Quest by Gloria Croft. This is part of the Atlantis Rising trilogy, again, which I'm pretty sure is mermaids, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I'm going to read Atlantis Rising for the readathon, and this I think is the second or the third book in the trilogy. The Summer of Chasing Mermaids by Sarah Ockler. Now, I know this is a contemporary. I don't think there are actual mermaids in here. It could just be a summer contemporary. We're going to have to see. It says, "Christian smiled again, and his eyes, green and gold in the flickering candlelight, shifted. For the second time that night, he seemed to be looking at me in the darkness, though I knew it was impossible for him to see my face. Still, I met his gaze, and neither of us looked away, even as he pursed his lips and extinguished the candles, until nothing remained beyond the glass between us but smoke and wishes." So I think this just might be a contemporary Little Mermaid retelling without mermaids, but hopefully there's some kind of mermaid action in here. Okay, next we have A Child of the Hidden Sea by A.M. Della Monica. I just found this one recently. Again, I don't know if there's mermaids, but I know there's pirates. So this is 1 minute, 24-year-old Sophie Hansa is in San Francisco Alley trying to save the life of a strange woman. The next, she's flung into the warm, salty waters of an unfamiliar world. Glowing moths fall to the waves around her, and the sleek bodies of unseen fish glide against her submerged ankles. So again, I'm pretty sure there's going to be mermaids in here. It's also adult, I believe, and I hadn't heard of it, so I picked it up. I got The Case of the Fickle Mermaid, a Brothers Grimm mystery. Now, I have so many of these fairy tale style books that have mermaids like later on in the series. I always like to read the first books first, or at least the first two, to see if they tie together, because even though they follow different stories, a lot of times the characters are interspersed or the whole story. So I probably won't read this one until I read the first one or two before it, but it's a middle grade mystery based on Brothers Grimm, and this one has a mermaid. All right, next I have two graphic novels. One I've read, one I haven't. So we have The Girl from the Sea. This is actually about a teenage girl growing up and she discovers a selkie and begins to fall in love. And it's very cute. I love the art style. I read this last year for Mermaid Marathon and so enjoyed it. Then we have Sailor Twain, or The Mermaid in the Hudson by Mark Siegel. So this is also a graphic novel. I think it's like a retelling on Mark Twain, but maybe they run into some mermaids on like a riverboat, and I'm gonna try to get to this one for the readathon as well. All right, then I got The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea by Maggie Tokoda Hall. I've heard amazing things about this one. I know there's a sweet female-female romance in here. I know there's pirates in here. I think they're on a boat for a lot of it. I absolutely love, and that's really all I know. I'm very excited to get to this one. I think this is young adult, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll let you guys know once I read it. And then lastly, I found The Little Mermaid and Other Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen. I never got this one when it was at Barnes & Noble, so I'm so glad I found this copy at a used library bookstore, and it's in beautiful condition. You will see this again because I'm going to do a classics haul and I wanted to feature it in both, but it is so beautiful. This is like their leather bound classic edition. This has a lot of Hans fairy tales in it, so The Little Mermaid's only the first like 30 pages, but I had to have it anyway. Okay you guys, so that is my haul. I didn't add any oceany, piratey themed books in here. I think I'm going to do a separate video for those either sometime this summer or maybe not until next year separately once I have a little bit more. But let me know if you've read any of these down below in the comments, if you really love them, if I should push them higher up on my TBR. Let me know if you plan on reading any of them for Mermaid Marathon, or if you're even participating. You can make it as easy and as fun as you want. You don't have to do any challenges if you don't want to. Just read at least one mermaid, siren, ocean themed book. I'll see you in a few days for the readathon. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at The Bright Side Girl. I've been posting a ton of mermaid content on there as well, and other things also. And I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side.